Hello everybody, welcome back to Board Game Nation. Today we're going to go through a bit of a strange game. There's been a lot of hype about this game, and it's called Time Stories. And Time Stories is a very unique game because there's not that many gameplay elements in it. It's really a storytelling game, and it's based on a stack of cards that you get right here. I've already played through it, so that tell a story, and within your group of 2 to 4 players, you're going to take this story and you're going to play through it. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure story, but neater because there's a lot of choices that you can do. There's a lot of different paths that you can go in, and typically, you know, if you went through the entire thing and moved all around, you would get to see everything. But there is this gameplay element where you need to get through and solve a mystery before you kind of run out of time. And if you do run out of time, well, that's okay. But you start, you know, becoming known as a real kind of slouch in the kind of time agency. Where you're going to, you know, end up having a really low score, and that's going to reflect on more missions as this game continues to grow. And how it's going to continue to grow is that they're going to bring out more and more games or more stories. And this is kind of what everybody's angry about, the fact that this game is really, you play it once and then you toss this deck away and you have to wait until they make a new one. And I don't really care. Spoilers. I don't care that you can play this game once. Because the first time you play it, it's a great experience. And, you know, with having kids and a wife and, you know, you go to the movies once and it's like $100. So, you know, $30 game, this is worth it. And that's all I have to say about that. But the stories are very interesting. And the art is absolutely beautiful. And with those two things coming together, it really makes a unique experience. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything with regards to what's in the deck, but I am going to talk a little bit about how this whole comes together. Now, you are part of an agency, this time, you know, agency that has to go back in time and into different universes. So, you know, kind of they explain it as we are one bubble in a multi-bubble verse, and we can travel in and out through time and space and different universes to solve these problems that might affect our world and all the other bubbles that are connected to it. So that's our kind of goal. And as a team, you're going to, you know, solve these riddles and these puzzles and these, you know, find out, you know, what we need to do to stop the event. And that's basically what the game is. Now, the puzzles, I don't know. I mean, everybody said there's lots of puzzles in these games. We will see as more of these stories come out. I wasn't too, you know, happy about the puzzle aspect. I found it a little frustrating. I'm sure there's other people that, you know, got it right away, and there you go. But I think that the real treat is the story rather than these puzzles. But it does remind me, playing this game, of doing one of those escape rooms. Now, I've been through a couple of them where, you know, they put you in a room and there's clues and stuff, and you have to go from room to room trying to get out of each room, and eventually, you know, you get out. Now, I did this, I think I've done 3 of them, and I've never gotten out of any of them. They're really tough. In Toronto, they're super tough. And I found it kind of frustrating. Some of the puzzles were like, how are we supposed to get that? You know, that's the only way I could ever get that puzzle is if I was in your head when you were creating that puzzle, you know. And I can see that maybe this game could do that, right? That they try to make it so complex that they lose the fun of the game within the puzzle. So we'll see. There's many more games to come, or stories to come, like these ones. and we'll see how they do with the puzzle making, because that's kind of a big part of this game. And we'll see how the stories are, because the stories are really interesting and cool. I'm hoping that they are. The first one was quite neat. I really enjoyed it. I spent, we were 5 guys doing it, all sitting around our kitchen table, and it took us like 4 hours to get through. We got kind of stuck. But we did enjoy kind of going and making those decisions, and at the end of it, we ended up with a really kind of cruddy score. But we enjoyed the story, and everybody would decided that we would do it again. I screwed up the rules, even though there's a minute amount of rules. I kind of screwed them up. Now, with the gameplay mechanisms, even though there's not much there, basically every time you move or do an action, you spend time, and you kind of go through. If you move to a new location, you're going to spend amount of time dependent on a die roll. And if, for instance, you have a situation that you have to solve, every time you try to solve it, which is going to involve rolling a bunch of dice, right? You're going to end up either succeeding or failing, but if you fail, you might have a chance to continue to roll, which is just going to cost you more time. And at the end of the game, you're going to count up all your time that you took, and you know, you'll have your score. Now, in the first little while of the game, you might actually run out of time completely, and you get pulled back into your own universe. Like, the event has happened and you did not catch it in time, and you've gotten pulled back out, back to, you know, the Time Institute or whatever it's called, and you kind of start all over again. But once you go back, you already know half the puzzle, so you can just go through it really quickly. Now, that is a bit tedious to get through all these cards again, but, you know, you kind of fudge it a little bit, and you can, you know, go quite quickly. But, you know, you have to be invested in the story. If you do not like stories, you're not going to like this game, because it's not really a game. It's definitely not a Euro game. For me, people would be like thinking, well, it's not, you know, made by Stefan Feld. What are you playing at? You shouldn't like this game. Well, I really do like it. I really, really, really like it. You know, I give it a fairly high rating. The one reason why I didn't give it a top, like 10 out of 10, is there's a couple of things that I didn't like about the particular story. But, you know, I think I will be rating this by the story, not the actual kind of console which comes in this box, but the actual individual stories. And I will be buying all of them, probably, maybe. Because I really do enjoy the storytelling portion of it, and experiencing that with my friends, and, you know, going on this adventure, right? I've never really been all that into role-playing in my adult life, but this is something that I have the time for, and I could really get into it. So the new one, the Mercy Case, and the other one that came out, I'm really looking forward to that and playing those. Right now, I gave the Asylum story like an 8 out of 10. But I think the actual concept of this, you know, style of game playing is really cool. It's like a 10 out of 10, but I think I'll be rating it by story, and I'll get to it. Now, I'm not going to obviously tell you really much about it other than what I've talked about. I really think that the key elements that are making this game are the artwork. They really need the artwork done properly to give that thematic feel. The next thing is the storytelling is absolutely vital in this game. It has to have a strong, interesting story, and the Asylum one did. You know, it had an interesting story, and the last thing is the puzzles, and the puzzles need to be easy to solve, but still challenging. Like, you can't get super hung up on them, and that is very difficult to do in this this game. I could see it could be very difficult. You could take a very very difficult, interesting puzzle and give one clue too many to make it just so blasé and simple. Or you could just say, well, they don't need that one little piece of information, and make the puzzle almost impossible to solve. Or, oh, that's stupid, I would have never thought of that. And that is the real interesting and scary thing about this game, if it's going to succeed or fail, is really, are you going to make people thrilled at figuring out that puzzle, or are you just going to frustrate them, right? And, just like escape rooms out there, there's a fine line, and you can put all the theme you want into those escape rooms, and all the beautiful sets and a great story. But if it's impossible, or if you find that the puzzle was impossible or stupid, then you're not going to have fun. So it is very important to do that. We were getting to a point where I just wanted to rifle through the deck and find out, right? And that ruins the game. So I think it's going to be a very difficult for them to balance, especially considering people have different, different abilities with puzzles. But, if you like things like this, there's a couple other games like Sherlock Holmes Consultant Detective Agency. That's another game that is along these lines, but this is much better. This is quicker, this is faster, this is neater, it's a lot better, and I find that the Sherlock Holmes one was just frustrating, because we really sucked. We got a score of like 150, which apparently is not that bad. So, anyways, this game is quite a big hit for me. I'm going to enjoy it. Fingers crossed that puzzle element, they get it right, and if they do, I'm going to be very happy with this kind of mechanism. So I am done the Asylum case, and I'm pretty sure I've got 2 more ready to go, and I'll talk about my rating of that, and without any spoilers, obviously, but what I felt and what I enjoyed about that particular story. With the Asylum case, all I'll say is that it is thematic. It really puts you into the the 20s setting. I enjoyed it. Like I said, found the puzzle a little frustrating, but it was okay, and lots of nice twists and turns and stuff like that. Good story. So that's my review of the Asylum for Time Stories. Thank you very much. Have a good night.